are talking on unashamed, yeah, you love my t-shirt already. It's really centered on helping us overcome the guilt and shame we feel from past experiences. I would really love you to join us to glean 1 or 2 things on how you can live life unashamedly. I want to be unashamed and audacious about the things I've done in the past and be able to share my story. I'm sure you would love to do that too, so please join us on the episode. Hi, see ya. This episode is a very special episode to me because we're going to talk about something that the world really does not define as church. And I have really amazing friends here that will be sharing that with. But I really need to really stress the fact that I've seen it play in so many. I think it happens to me too while growing up. I'm still growing up. And then I see that point where you just have friends that love you, that you go out together, you party together, you have fun times together, you read together, and you share painful experiences and all of that together. But then you find it hard to, bring them on board and regard to your faith. You find it hard to tell them, girl, I think you might need Jesus. Or you find it hard to tell them, guy, you're working on the wrong path, you need to come back here, and things like that. So today, I have my own friends also here for us to talk about how they have been able to share with friends in their circle, friends in their space, friends at work, friends at church even, friends at social gatherings, friends everywhere, how they've been able to share their faith with them, people that need it and people that don't even look like they need it. So yeah, to my right, I have an amazing friend, Clement Johnson. Yeah. Thank you. I have Ayanfe Akibami. Yes, thank you. And then to my left, yes, I have Emmanuel Udofia. So yes, I don't know whether you would like to say anything or two about yourself. I think I would like my teenagers to know you. So Clement, over to you.
Okay. Hello everyone. My name is Clement Johnson. I am a believer, and also I work as a marketing and growth professional with tech startups. Yeah. That's it for that. Thank you.
Ayanfe.
Hi everyone, I'm Ayanfe and I'm a believer and a child accountant. Yeah.
Thank you. So yeah, Emmanuel.
Alright, so I would like to describe myself as a storyteller, and I'm also a believer, and I love children.
Oh yeah, I like that. So fine, thank you very much. Now I'll start with Ayanfe, and it's a very open conversation, like I said initially. How was it for you to, let me first ask the regular question, how did you come to be, aside the fact that yes, daddy, mommy Christian and all of that, how did you come to be an active believer? Let me put it that way. Actively giving yourself and say, yeah, I might be young and I want to be trendy and I want to do the anything, but then I think this Jesus is a big deal.
Well, for me, apart from the fact that my parents are Christian pastors, so apart from that, I really didn't take Christianity serious until my 100 level days. A friend invited me over, I was bored, and a friend just invited me over to fellowship, and I went and then I got saved. And I think for me, I'm really grateful for that friend because I initially just went to school to just like flex and enjoy myself. But then even though I grew up in a Christian home, if my friend did not invite me, I probably might not have been saved. Who knows what would have happened. But it was my very first Sunday on campus and I went to church and I got saved. So for me, having friends around me, I had Christian friends, but not having a friend that was bold enough to tell me, oh, you need to come here, is what really brought me on this journey.
And at that time, do you think it was trendy for you to be a believer? Do you think it was like the in thing that will make you look for you to be a believer at that time? An active one, not just passive, good morning Jesus, and that's all?
Then it wasn't the in thing at all, because the in things were parties. As a freshman on campus, attend all the parties, attend everything. But it wasn't so much of an in thing, but I know that I had an encounter that Sunday evening. And even after that Sunday, I was still like, okay, maybe not. But then I had other friends follow me up and say, okay, this is what we've been doing, this is what works. And well, I'm someone that likes to test things out. So I kind of tested it out and I've not stopped testing it out.
I like the fact that it looks like, let me try. Let's see if it works and all. So Clement, what's your own story like?
Okay, for me, I grew up also in a Christian home. Attended church right from a very young age, but I mean, I wasn't saved.
Okay.
I mean, we come out from multiple, what do you call this thing? Multiple altar calls when we were young, but that wasn't it. So for me, it was 2017 after I came back from NYSC camp. I knew I was entering into a new phase of my life that I couldn't do alone. So there was a burden in my heart, like, I'm going to serve. I don't even know what's going to happen to me where I'm going to. I had lots of questions that I didn't have answers to. And I remember I was lying down on the couch in my dad's house and I just said, if God is real, if God is really real, I need you at this time. I know that God has always been with me. He has loved me right from the beginning. So then that Sunday, that was the last Sunday of the year, December 2017. We went to church and then they said youth should wait behind. You know that thing when they say youth wait behind, and I'm like, for a year, I'm going, like, I'm not staying. They said youth should wait behind for a prayer. I said, I'm not staying for any prayer. After this service, I'm going home. I mean, it was the last day of the year now. I mean, there's still crossover nights that same day, and you're telling us to wait behind. But for weird reasons, I just stayed back, and that was it. That was the meeting where I received the life of Christ. And 2018, I moved to NYSC and I stayed in NCCF, that's Nigeria Christian Corpus Fellowship. That's where I met already. And that was where it laid the foundation for like my spiritual growth and like fellowship with God and really understanding who God is and all of that. So that was the foundation for me.
Really nice. Yeah, I met him with that family. That's another gist for another day. Emmanuel, yeah. So what's the story like?
My story is similar to what they've said already, and I would say I was also born into church. Right? I belong to an Orthodox Christian denomination.
Okay.
Very, very old-fashioned, so to speak. And so I would say I experienced Jesus officially. I gave my life to Him December 23rd, 1998. I was an adolescent. I think
that's another thing, like the date.
1998.
Oh yeah. I remember very clearly. You know, I grew up. I was passionate, zealous in church activities, but like you mentioned, I had some things that were not clear yet concerning God, His nature, and all of that. So, 1998, I was a member of the choir, right? And so there was an altar call. It was a camp meeting, and so I remember vividly. I was wearing this white shirt, black tie, you know, and you know, from then on, I was growing, so to speak. At the time, reading the Bible wasn't very easy because, I mean, it was KJV. It has this funny English, you know, and all of that. And so, over time, I would say I have grown. However, my faith was challenged significantly when I entered uni. I studied philosophy.
That's enough to challenge any soul on earth.
And so, I also attended ISI.
Yeah.
And I recall I met you a few times. And so, I mean, a lot of things happened at ISI, probably because of this program.
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
And so, while I was preparing to come into UI, I attended UI. One of my pastors, was also my father's pastor, was asking my dad, "Are you sure Emmanuel should study this course?" He was saying that from a position of understanding because he also experienced challenges to his faith. And so,
did he study philosophy?
Oh yes, he's a professor of philosophy.
Okay.
And so over time, you know, I had so loads of questions that even as an adult, I still, you know, I'm looking forward to getting more answers.
I'll bend you there, but then now I have a question to ask us, and then I feel like, why is it that young people feel that looking like you associate with Jesus is shameful? Kinda. Now I'm saying that because I figured out that some they believe, but then they hide it, kind of. So there's something on ground that we are deliberating on, and they were saying that to do this or not to do this, and then the Jesus guy is like, it just makes me feel somehow to say that I can't do this. Why can't you do it? It's against my faith. So I have a question for us, and then my question is, I figured out that for much older people, I can easily tell Ayanfe, I'm not doing this, it's against my faith. But for younger people, it's like, how can I just tell you that I'm not going to go for that party because it doesn't look like what Jesus would do? It makes me look like I'm not in town, I'm not trendy and all of that. So pen your answer there, and at the end of this short break, we'll come back to that question. Okay, so before the break, I'd asked that why is it not easy for teenagers to come up to say, I can't do this because it's against my faith, as against what adults will have done? And then how can we also be able to, easily express ourselves as young people? I can easily tell you, though I'm young, I might just be 18 or even 16, but I'm not doing this. What do you want me to do about it? So yeah, over to you. Let's start with Clement. It's like he's itchy to answer my question.
It's not like maybe I'm itchy here, but I mean, I struggled with something like this when I was younger too. I mean, at the time, I didn't even I not received the life of Christ like I have now, but there were just some things that were taught in church, and they were just against some of the things that I was expected to do. You understand? So one thing is, people crave acceptance. It's a human thing to crave community. It's a human thing to want to have people around you. And one of the elements of relationship with people is the fact that you have to submit, you have to let go of something to do to accommodate people. So then when young people get in a circle, maybe they get to school or they have friends that are doing particular things that they want them to do it, and it's against their faith, they are always scared to say no to these things. They get to succumb to the pressure just so that their friends will be pleased with them and their friends will be happy with them. So this pressure is something that all of us have faced it at one time or the other. But one thing that it's important for every believer or every growing believer is to know that, see, your identity is not in what the people around you say. You have to first know that your identity is in Christ Jesus. You are the light of the world. You are supposed to be that sphere of influence, when light shows anywhere, it takes away the darkness. You're supposed to be light, bringing those your friends into the light and not the other way around. And it is also important that we are a healthy community. Not to take much time answering the question. If you are in a healthy community, maybe it's not just you are two. Two is stronger against five. More than one will be stronger against five. So a community, being in an healthy community would really help. Something like that.
Yes, I'll go back to Emmanuel if I come to Ayanfe. Now, I paused you at that point where you talked about being in philosophy and all of that. So now this is my question for you. Being in that kind of circle with different people, it's class, and then your professor is telling you that this is how something is. I'm sure you're at that course to probably go into an argument with somebody on, I don't think this is what the Bible says this and that. So how was it for you to take your stand as against what a class of 60 or even 100 is, as against their own beliefs and how?
That's a very big question, and I'm happy you asked. So I would say it was challenging and interesting. Challenging because it was my first time experiencing a real challenge to my faith. From primary school, I would say I was the quote hottest for Jesus then. Then I went to ISI. Then I went to ISI. I mean, from my GSS 1, GSS 2, I began to succumb to all of the peer pressures around. So when I got to uni, it was even more. Now I remember Professor Ekonla, that was the one-time acting VC of UI. He was the one who taught us Phil 102.
Okay.
That's philosophy and critical thinking also. And the first question he threw towards the class then was, how are you sure that your mother is your mother?
Okay. I make you question yourself.
We just kept quiet. It's like I left that class having, this headache. My head was hot. And then he ended up convincing us that you think that person is your mother because you were told she's your mother, but you cannot independently verify that. And then we went on and arguing. So at the end of it, I had more questions than answers. And by, let's say, 200 level, everybody in the class were ardent Christians in some form, whether they were escorts in their fellowship, blah, blah, blah. And so when there were arguments, our professors would tackle us like one-on-one.
What age were you then?
Okay, so I entered university at 17.
Okay.
Right. And so by 300 level, I became an escort in my fellowship. Right. And I still had questions. So when these questions were asked, I was not so passionate about defending them. Because, as I was going to add to his own position, is that I have this intellectual skepticism. I mean, that really means, how am I sure what I think I know is really the truth? Right? And so that truth, I believe, is also a contributing factor to why young people are not able to stand up for their belief or explain Jesus to their friends. Like, what I'm not sure about, how can I easily explain to somebody else?
Yeah.
Right? And I think Albert Einstein said one time that if you cannot explain it simply, then you yourself don't even know it. So I believe when we have this, like you mentioned, this environment where people are able to openly talk about stuff in that relationship, and then people are welcome to have their doubts expressed. I need answers to these questions. When they have those answers and they're able to easily relate with people, then it's easy to actually stand up and say, this thing I believe is not correct.
Okay, so yeah, I like that. But I'll talk to Ayanfe, being a female, and then we know, I think ladies talk more. I don't know, but I think that always this thing is
And
happening.
they are relational to, you know.
They do all sorts of talking. So now, to you as a female, how was it for you? And then looking at it in light of other female, other young ladies, sometimes it's not easy to say, I can't do this. Let's say, for instance, what's actually anything girls talk about? I don't want to be biased because I feel it's wrong when guys say girls talk about boys. Girls don't talk about boys. Girls don't talk about boys. But then what's that thing that girls talk about? Whatever, anything. How was it, even when you started actively doing it? How was it to tell you? I'm sure you had other friends even ahead. How was it for you to tell some other people, I don't think I do that anymore, and all of that?
Okay, so I'll first say that I also went to ISI. And
You had 3 of you
Yeah.
Interesting.
And coming from ISI's perspective, coming from the kind of secondary school that was, the happening secondary school in town,
Yeah.
and we all the like big girls in campus, because when you come from ISI and you enter UI, you literally like automatically are supposed to be like a big girl on campus, right? So coming from that part, and then first Sunday I became a Christian, and I had an account and I became a Christian, and I also still had my friends where, there's this party, there's this, there's that, and wanting to keep up with the ISI image that everybody has. I don't know why they have that image, but everybody believes great ISI and happening person and all that. So having to still want to keep up with that image, and luckily for me, the fellowship I attended was in the evening. So in the morning, I would just like front that I'm not going to church. I don't do church things, So when everybody goes to church, I'm like, I'm not going to church. Then when everybody's resting, I sneak out and go. So initially, it was like a Tom and Jerry chase where I was trying to hide, but then I I'll still go back to the place of friends, because for me, my journey so far has been because of the kind of people I put around me. Even my friends, my ISI friends, were trying to like, let's go there, let's go this. But God just found a way of surrounding me with some other people that would say, no, you're coming to fellowship today. And all those annoying momsies or exposed that would, but so trying to balance out still being a happening babe and going to church was, initially I was always running away from it, right? Like I said, my fellowship was in the evening, so I would try and sneak out and all that. But eventually, since I went in with the idea of trying it out, I just found a distaste for a couple of things, right? So when we're going for this party, I'm like, I'm not really interested. I don't like alcohol. You're trying to drink, right? I just found this disgust within me for it. So little by little, I started shedding myself off those things. And when there's a void, if you're trying to get rid of an habit, you have to fill it up with another habit, or the devil will just like come for you. So what happened for me was the void of people, programs in church, and people always coming around saying you're going. So that filled up that hunger that I had.
Now I have a question. I'm still coming to Clement, but then now you talked about the fact that you had other friends, yes, but then you had some other people that were able to like say, no, auntie, we're going this way. Now, did you at some point have like a way of reaching out to those other people that you left to follow these other new people?
Okay, so initially I didn't. They find themselves. Okay. That was my initial thought, but I noticed that a couple of times when eventually when I got to like second semester, I became a church girl. Like, I'm going to fellowship, and I became a fresher at school, so I did not even have a choice. I had to go to fellowship. So eventually, when they kept coming, let's go out, like, I have fellowship. Let's go, I have fellowship. I wasn't inside this your fellowship, let's go together. So and then my fellowship had a couple of fun things that we did. So I invited her, don't worry, we're not going to do Bible today, we're just going to come and have fun. and then they come and then the Bible. So for what I did was, I did not really have the confidence to go out and say, oh, you must give your life to Christ, or this is what I'm experiencing. But I think from the changes that happened with me, I think some of them saw it, and we went. They eventually came, and they came for, most of them came for the food or for the fun, but then they encountered Christ in the middle of that. And
I like that part. I don't want to overburden Ayanfe. I like that part where she made mention of the fact that it was more like a life first. There was something about her that they saw. Yeah, she didn't know how to. Yeah, she was shy or scared or whatever it is. But then when they saw something, I could relate with that, because I used to say that maybe I became serious with Jesus because of my elder brother. Because I just saw that, in 1 year of going to uni, that was university, that was this, this aura. I'm like, we know you now. It is really. That was this thing that I saw. I'm like, I really want to do this. Now, so Clement, I have a question for you. Ayanfe had, she had the other regular people, and then she had the other kind of people that would say, you are going to church today. What of a teenager that does not have that kind of people around? It's possible that all I have around me is just people just like me. And then now it seems like I'm the one that God is saying, you're going to know me first before the rest of them. How can that person navigate that? You know that some other people giving you pressure and saying, don't worry, if it's I'll give you Shasofie. What do you want? Is it food? I'll give you food, but we're going to church. What if you don't have people like that around you? How do you, it's I feel like it's harder for that kind of person to fight and say, I'm not going to succumb, I want to do this. How do you do?
Okay, I pray the Holy Spirit helps me to give an answer, because I feel like this can be like addressing someone. This question can like mean a lot to one person listening now, and maybe if contributions come from other people. For this, I think if you have a smartphone, if you are listening to me right now and you have a smartphone, and sadly your environment, I mean the people around you does not support the faith, there's nobody that is really pushing you, I want you to know that it is important that you take up the responsibility of growing in the faith. You take up that responsibility. The grace of God is made available for it. If you at least have a smartphone, you can follow a Bible-believing church online. Thank God for the digital age, and the fact that we have content all around. Even this you are watching right now, you're watching with a smartphone or a device that's connected to the internet. So you can consume this content in you. You can be intentional about the things that you put into yourself, because you know that this thing is very important for my life. Whatever is important to you, you make time for it. Make time for this. Consume good content online. I don't want to recommend on this, but look for a Bible-believing church. Follow them, listen to sermons, and make sure that you consume that much content for this time being, for this period of time where you are not in a place where a lot of people are supporting your faith, until you get into another phase of your life where you have this support. Give this support to yourself, and the Holy Spirit will help you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you. I like Clement's way of wrapping up the fact that if you have an Android phone, I don't think you should. There's so many things you can consume that will build your person and make you much more confident, to do that which you know is right, number one. Number two, to live as an example, to reach out to people around you. Sometimes, like Ayanfe's story, you might necessarily not have to say. My brother didn't say, he just lived. And that's like the interesting thing. So thank you so much. I'm really more than honored to have you guys here. And thank you. So I hope that I feel like you've learned a lot, because I have learned a lot. And then I hope that you put this thing to practice. So it's not just we learning and then we just packing ourselves with knowledge, but we living out the life. So I hope you join us on further episode. Thank you so much. Bye.
This is staying updated on Bigsister Show. On this segment, I'll be talking to us about something really fun that we all, I'm sure, must have watched while growing up. This is Avatar: The Last Airbender. There are rumors we said that there's another season that will be coming up very soon in 2024 about the life of Aang, his growing up, his marriage, and how he died. So I will advise us that if you want to know more, you will have to stay tuned to your internet to find out more. That will be all for now. Thank you, and please do not forget to like, subscribe, and comment on our channel.